We are on.
We ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
What's up, Mona?
You crack me up every time.
I'm just a big kid, really. I am.
Me too. I think I play too much sometimes.
Oh, I know for a fact I do. And there's no thinking about that. I know for a fact I do. I get in so much trouble at home. It's not even funny. Like I think I get in more trouble at home than my kids actually get in trouble for misbehaving. Like,
Oh Lord.
yeah. Yeah, I'm just a big kid.
People always like they be surprised when I tell them my age. They're like, you look so. I mean, you so young. I thought you was young. I thought you were this. I was like, do they say that because I look young or they think I'm childish?
You know what? And either way, I'll take it because back in high school, right? You think, oh, I can't wait to get older. I can't wait to get older. I can't wait to get older.
Right.
Well, in high school, I should have got. I know my mom's got it. I'll have to dig it up. I know my mom's got it somewhere. But in high school, my senior picture, no joke, my senior picture in high
we're
school
waiting on that picture.
looked like I was a lawyer, right? The lawyer's commercial. I need to dig that up.
I cannot wait.
But I got stopped by security. I don't know how many times because that's actually my senior year of high school. That's actually how I dressed. I dressed in like dress pants, button down shirt, vest. Like I was doing like the whole Peaky Blinders thing before the Peaky Blinders were even a thing. Right. And because of my receding hairline, dude, I got stopped constantly. Like, sir, you're not supposed to be here. You need to go check in at the office. I'm like, I'm a student. I'm like, no, you're not. I'm like, yeah, I am. Here's my ID. Here's my card. I'm like, I'm 17 years old. I'm 18 years old. I'm like, oh, normally kids don't wear a suit like that. Like, I'm like, I'm just trying to be different and stand out. Well, stand out you did.
Right. If you ain't doing nothing, you standing out.
That's right.
Because I swear, I think my senior year in school, I wore a t-shirt and jeans every single day. Like I dressed up the other years, but senior year, I was just so tired of school. I wore a t-shirt and jeans every single day.
Nah, see, I was the man my senior year.
Lord.
Because I went to school, grew up in Pennsylvania, right? So going to school in Pennsylvania, then coming out. Cookie, what? Stop. You hear her jingling her collar back there. So when I moved to Arizona,
everybody see Cookie after you finish.
Yeah. So moving, my dad worked for Whirlpool at the time, and they transferred him from Pittsburgh out to Arizona. So we moved out to Arizona. It was my sophomore year of high school, and so we sat down at the guidance counselor, right? And once we moved out here, and they're looking at my transcript, and they're looking at me, and they're looking at my transcript, and they're looking at me, and they're like, so these are the classes that you were taking? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, in Arizona, these are all senior level classes. So we can either put you in these same classes, but you're going to be with all seniors, or we can put you in the classes that you are supposed to be in, your decision. I'm like, well, I've already started these classes. Like, I don't want to just like start over in the middle of the year. Right. When we moved, because we actually moved out here in the middle of the year. So I'm like, just put me in these classes and I'll figure it out later. So here I am. At that time, it was only in Arizona, high school was only 10th, 11th, and 12th grade in one building, or one campus, I should say. So, because there was 1,000 students per grade level. And so here I am, a sophomore in classes all day long with nothing but seniors.
Oh, wow.
Seniors all the time. Then my junior year, I took all junior level classes. And then my senior year, I took all sophomore level classes.
Oh, Lord, you were Benjamin Button around here. You were Benjamin Button. You were backwards.
So I was going back. I was going backwards because I had to fulfill the requirements. So
Right.
I ended up taking as a senior. Ended up taking sophomore level classes, which I only needed like I only went to school half a day, so I only needed like 3 classes to graduate, or 3 classes spread out through the year to graduate. So I
Right.
ended up going to school half a year. So my senior year, I would come in because I would dress up. I come in, I walk into those sophomore level classes as a senior, all decked out in the suit and looking good, and all the sophomore girls are like, oh.
All right, you were the man.
So I thought it was some big stuff back then. Now I got a girl that's actually older than me. My wife is actually older than I am. So
Yeah, really. Oh, Lord. I would
good
expect
times.
nothing less. Okay, now let us see Cookie before I start talking about the class.
Cookie, come here. Where'd you go? Oh, she went out.
Oh,
Cookie. Give her a minute. She'll come back in.
okay.
Usually when I whistle like that, she usually comes in after a minute or two.
Cookie is looking at this time on this thing.
6 minutes and 39 seconds. 40, 41.
Oh, my
42.
side is like 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 45 seconds. Was it recording before?
No, I think it's because you're the host, and we've been going for a while. I guess I don't know. That'd be my guess.
7 minutes, but why might I say 1 hour, 7 minutes?
I have no idea on that one.
Okay. All right. So I was trying to make sure it wasn't recording like beforehand. So anyway, Cookie is up.
There's my little cookies.
Look at Cookie. Look at Cookie. And Cookie is a rescue dog. And my son has been bugging me for a dog. So Tim has talked me into going to the rescue and getting a dog. I've always gotten them for breeders, but I'm going to try something different this time.
Yeah, because again, like we were talking beforehand, she is the best dog I've ever had. Like, usually when I pick her up, or people seriously like, oh, you got a Chihuahua, I bet she like nips and she barks and she's whatever, because Chihuahuas have that personality and that reputation. I've had her for 3 years. She's barked exactly 3 times. People ring the doorbell, people come over, she doesn't jump. She's like so well trained that she's the best dog I've had ever. So except for, to no fault of hers, except for when I took her on our family vacation a couple of years ago to Florida. That was a nightmare. So yeah, be prepared. If you ever take your dog on a family vacation, be prepared, because there's a lot of stuff to that I did not realize. I thought it was like, just take your dog on vacation, right? No, it's not. So I don't know if you want me to tell the story?
Sorry.
Okay. So because I traveled so much, I had all these points build up through a certain airline. We won't say which one, but we'll just call them Airline AA. That I had all these points built up, right? So I had it. So we went through COVID, and my points were actually going to end up expiring because I had been so long since I used them. But through COVID, they extended them out, and then they sent me a thing, said, hey, you need to book a flight, otherwise you're going to start losing these points. So I said, okay, well, let's just take my whole family to Florida. We'll go to Tampa. It was right before the Asties that were down in Tampa. So I said, okay, let's just go. And I booked the flight, paid for it with all my points. So I like wiped out my points, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I booked on there, booked the flight out there, booked the hotel, all the whole nine. And then we looked in a boarding facility for the dog while we were gone. And there was like going to be like $1,000 for the week that we were gone. So I'm like, that's pretty expensive. It can't be that much to take the dog with me. And so I looked it up. I'm like, oh no, the tickets for the dog was like $250. I'm like, okay, so hotel, that should be no charge or very little, and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, so we should be good. Just buy a little container crate for the dog to carry her in. That's airline approved, which I bought one of those. That was like $50 off of Amazon. So I'm like, $300. I'll take her with me. I'm saving $700, right?
Right.
So we get to the airport in Phoenix. Now, granted, in order to use all of my points, and for the amount of legs and travel time that we had to fly from Phoenix to Charlotte to Tampa. All right. And we got to Phoenix and our flight left at like 6 a.m. in the morning. So we got to the airport at like 4 a.m. In Phoenix. We go up to the counter, check our bags, and I find out that the ticket for the dog, it's $250 per way. Not just like round trip, it's per way.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, okay. So I paid for the ticket for the dog, $500. So now I'm at like, what was it? 300. I'm at 800. So I'm still saving $200, right? Yes. Okay. I'm still making a little money here. And it's gonna be fun. The kids are gonna be in Florida with the dog, all that.
Mm-hmm.
So then we get up to there and we're checking in all the bags and they say, well, let me see the container. So we put the dog in the container, make sure she can turn around and do all the things. And they're like, okay, that's fine. That'll work. So we fly to Charlotte, no problem. Fly to Tampa, no problem. Then we do our week, or we get to the hotel, and apparently I did not know this at the time because I had never taken a pet anywhere, but there you have to have a specific room for pets. There's a pet room, and that is more than what a standard room rate is. So I had to pay more for the room, upgrade the room.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm actually at the break-even point. It would have been the same price just to leave the dog at the boarding facility as what I paid so far to get the dog to Tampa. Okay, fair enough. I learned my lesson. I'm good. We still had a great time. It was a lot of fun in Tampa. And then we went to fly back. And when we went to fly home, that's when it all crumbled.
Oh,
Because again, we were at a 6 a.m. flight. So we had to get to the airport. It was like 3:30 in the morning by the time we got there. And we went to check in, and the lady at the counter said, after we're checking everything in, we said, sure enough, you got the ticket for the dog. Okay, put the dog in the container. Let me see, make sure your dog can't fly. That container is too small. Like, what do you mean? Your guidelines say that she has to be able to turn around and be able to move. And like, yeah, but actually what this means in the guidelines is that the dog has to be able to fully stand up and move around. So your dog can't fly. I'm like, okay, well, then do you have a container that you can sell me that I can rent or borrow or whatever? I'll even buy the container so that I can get my family home, because my kids and wife both have school the next day.
Right.
And like, oh no, we don't have any. We don't sell containers. You have to go to one of the other airlines to do it. The best thing we can do is, send your family on this flight, and then you go to Walmart and try to find a container or whatever.
Oh Lord.
So meanwhile, no, this is the best part though. So meanwhile, we're going through this. My wife is she's like on the verge of going ballistic right now. And I'm like, I'm trying to keep the peace. Like, okay, calm down. She's just doing her job. This is, we escalated to a manager. Nope, dog can't fly. Asked to talk to someone else. Nope, dog can't fly. We went through like 3 or 4 people. Dog can't fly. So meanwhile, while we're going through all this, I'm looking behind me. And if you've ever been to the Tampa airport, for those of you watching, you kind of know where this airline is and how they have the little stanchions that, make the little maze that people stand in. Well, that was completely full. And the line went back all the way to the curb, the door at the curb. I mean, it was way back there. I'm like, looking at this, I'm like, okay, there's like, flying enough as I did, like I knew immediately that there was something wrong. So I'm like, my wife's still ballistic, but I'm like, okay, you and the kids get on this flight. You go home. You got school. I'll figure out what to do with the dog, right? I'll figure out a way to get home. Don't worry about me. So they're not happy. She's not happy, but she agrees. She gets the kids on the flight. We go through there. And so I start going around to like United and Southwest and all the other airlines. No, we don't sell containers. Southwest is like, yeah, we have a container that the dog can ride in. But you have to have a Southwest ticket in order to buy one. We don't just sell them. So I'm like, well, but I'm like, okay, I have enough Southwest points built up. Like, I'll just buy a ticket for, I don't care where, send me anywhere.
Right.
And like, I'll just use my points, buy a ticket. Well, unfortunately, this was the day. This was the day. Unfortunately, all of our computer systems went down and we had to cancel all of our flights last night and all of our flights today. And it didn't happen to just Southwest. It also happened. It was the same day it happened to United as well. So like two out of the 4 major airlines in that airport had lost all of their systems. They're just down.
Mm-hmm.
All flights canceled. They're trying to rebook. They're trying to scramble. They're booking flights for people on other airlines. I'm like, oh, this is just getting worse. So I go over to Delta. I'm like, okay, do you guys have a crate that you can sell me? Delta's like, yeah, I think we do. She looks it up. Like, yeah, we got one. It says we got one, but let me go back and check and make sure it's actually there. So she goes back and she comes back out and goes, our inventory was off. We don't have one.
Oh,
it's not back there.
Lord.
And I said, oh, okay. So I laid out my spiel, right? I laid out, like, I'm sorry. I'm just so frustrated right now. But she's like, well, put the dog in the container and let me see. And I put the dog in the container. She looks at it and goes, there's nothing wrong with that container. She could fly in that. She'd be totally fine in that. I'm like, okay, can you get me the Phoenix then? Like, what would it take to get me the Phoenix? She's like, well, I got one flight going out to Phoenix today and I got like one seat left on it and it's $1,000 for the seat. Wasn't even first class, by the way. It was like the very back of the plane, last seat in the middle. So now it actually cost me an extra $1,000 to take the dog with me on this airplane trip. Plus my wife swears she will never set foot in Florida again. I'm like, it wasn't the entire state of Florida, just so we know. It was one lady doing her job at the counter.
That wasn't her job. If she can fly on Delta, she can fly on any airline.
Which was my thing. So when I got home, like when I actually got home, I did the Karen or whatever the male version of a Karen is. I lit up United. I'm not a United. I lit up that airline.
Right.
And I lit them up. I was so mad. And they didn't reimburse me for the flight that I had to pay for the other airline, but they did give me a credit for the dog's ticket. And they did give me half of all of my points back that I used. Oh, so that was something, but I'm like, no big deal. Cause now all these points are just going to stay here. Cause I'm never setting foot on your airline again.
Exactly. So with Delta, it was $1,000 for your flight, but how much for the dog?
They didn't charge me for the dog.
See, you should have been on Delta in the beginning. See, that's why I only fly Delta. See
that's your
fault.
That's why I only fly Delta now. I learned my lesson.
Right. You should have been learned that. Let's see.
But I was trying to be cheap. I was trying to be cheap and save a penny because I had all these points built up, right?
Right. Yeah, you better go and get them Sky Miles over there at Delta. See, that's your own fault.
So
you had to pay for the dog.
I learned.
Yes, I learned.
Well,
I bet you
normally
with Delta from here on out.
Normally, you would still have to pay for the dog, but she took pity on me and she bypassed the fee for the dog. So,
see, that was nice.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah. To which I replied back to the Delta's website and the Delta social media and like, y'all, this lady, you all need to promote her, give her a raise. Like she just kind of thanked her and definitely made sure Delta knew who she was.
See there? Delta.
So
Good old Delta. See?
yeah, good old
Right.
Delta. I love
Now,
Delta.
y'all
Plus, they have
look.
you have the Biscoff cookies. Like I fell in love with the Biscoff
Yeah.
cookies, the little Delta cookies. Oh, I
Right.
love
They
those.
good.
So
Mhm.
good.
Do they still give them out though?
Mhm.
They started doing different. Oh, okay. Yeah. They do.
Yeah, they do. They do some different stuff. So they don't have them all the time anymore, but they still do have them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I definitely, if I can, I always ask the stewardess or the flight attendant if I could have multiples for my kids.
Right.
My kids love these. Can I have some more?
Look, y'all jump on www.ssg Academy and enroll in those classes, you know.
I took up the whole show with that story. My bad. The trials of Tim and traveling with a dog.
Right.
That's the name of the show today.
Right. Traveling with a dog. Look, now y'all all know not to be traveling with a dog. I ain't trying to travel with a dog. I'm not trying to have a dog at all because I don't want to pay $1,000 for the doggy daycare if I go out of town. I don't want the whole responsibility of a dog. But I get guilt tripped every day. My son trying to get me to get him a dog.
There is nothing greater than a dog and their kid, a kid and their dog, right? Whether it's my son and Cookie or my littlest daughter who's 7, like just sitting there watching TV and Cookie jumps up on her and kind of curls up on her lap and she just starts petting her and I'm like, it's so cute. So
Right, y'all. And see, it's because the appliance repair that Tim is able to afford to buy all those extra tickets and pay $2,000 for a dog to travel. $2,000. Appliance repair provided that, huh? Made that possible for him, huh?
Yeah, but let's be very clear. My wife was not happy about that.
Oh, I know she went. But if it wasn't for appliance repair, you'll still be in Florida right now. You and the dog.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Now jump into the classes at SSG Appliance Academy and get into the appliance repair industry.
I would have been in Florida. What would have happened?
We got to tie it all in with the classes.
Right, which is what I'm doing. I wouldn't have still been in Florida. I would have got a rental car, drove up to Atlanta, and probably just bought a house and stayed in Atlanta at that point. So
and taught at SSG.
And taught at SSG.
Yep. All would have been good.
All would have been gravy from there.
Right. Yeah. Yep. So we finishing up this class, maybe the last appliance repair class for the year. I'm almost 90% sure I'm not going to do an appliance repair in December, but seal systems maybe.
Possibly a sealed system class, yeah.
Yeah, possibly sealed systems. But I mean the class we got is real good. I got one lady in there.
That's awesome.
Yep. Three technicians for Jacksonville and a couple people from out here in Georgia. So I actually took the students to see not all the students, but the ones who wanted to come, we went to go see Wakanda Forever. Friday.
How was it? Was it good?
It was so good. And make sure you stay to after the credits.
Oh, yeah, it's a Marvel movie, so yeah, we all gotta stay after the credits for that.
Tequila, the one lady that's in the class with us, she got up and left, but we were just still sitting there and not really. I wasn't even thinking about Marvel and stay after the credits. I don't know what took us so long to get up because I never really sit through the credits, but she had left out. She also brought her son, and so as we sat there, then the rest of the movie came up. I was like, so she missed a very important piece of the movie. She missed. I was like, you didn't laugh at me. She said, I had to go to the bathroom. But we had a really good time, SSG out here, with the students. I never take pictures and post none of the stuff we do. I got to get better.
Yeah. And that's right there. That point right there that you said is exactly why I don't go to the movie theaters anymore. I just wait for it to come out on like Disney Plus or whatever, because I would have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the movie. And I don't want to miss anything. I want to just hit the pause button. I'm in the comfort of my own home. I got the popcorn just the way I like it.
Too.
Just pause it, go to the bathroom. I'm golden.
Tim, trust and believe. That's the first movie I've been to in forever. Like I wait for everything too, but my church did a private screening, and so they sold these tickets like a couple months ago. And they did a private screening, and I bought 6 tickets. You know, I didn't know what I was buying them for. I just bought 6 tickets because it was a church, whatever. So and so
that makes sense.
Trust me, I tried to get out of it. I didn't want to go, so hence giving it to the students. But my boys wouldn't let me out of it, so I ended up going, and I'm glad I did. It was really good. We had a really good time.
Nice. That's always a good thing.
Yeah. So this is a really great class too. One of my favorites. It started off bumpy, had a whole bunch of trials, but it ended up being one of my favorite classes.
There you go. I mean, that's a testimony of itself is and especially in business, like you get those bumpy roads, and then once you get through those bumps, it smooths out and it becomes a good ride after that. So that happens in life. That happens all the time. But glad you got through it. Glad everything worked out. And glad you didn't have to have me come out last minute, because that would have been an expensive ticket.
I know it. I know it's gonna be expensive. And it was still like on the table, like we're just gonna see how today go. And
that'd be like my last minute flight purchase from going to Tampa to Phoenix with a dog. It would have been $1,200 one way.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it would have been like $1,200 one way.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have.
Yeah, that would have been like a $3,000 round trip ticket by the time you did taxes and everything.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely, I do.
Oh yeah, no, you wasn't an option then.
No, on Delta, it would have been.
Oh yeah, well, I would only put you on. I only fly Delta, so I'm not gonna book nothing else for you. So
Delta, I'll do Delta or Southwest. Southwest is still good. I still do Southwest.
Yeah, I actually went with my aunt and her sister to Vegas, I think last year, and they booked Southwest, and I was like, against my better judgment, I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and get on Southwest so we won't be flying on different airlines. I get on Southwest, I'm like, where the TVs?
There's no TVs.
Right. The lady that was sitting next to me, she talking about, you are not on Delta. I was like, oh, I said, I just assumed all the airlines had TV.
No, there's no assigned seating. You got to line up with the little numbers at the little post.
So I didn't know about, you have to hurry up and check in so you can be in the, the first group or nothing.
Or you pay like the $45 to upgrade to that first group or whatever. Yeah.
So I didn't know about none of that. So I mean, the experience wasn't that bad. But
it's not bad. It's really not. It's different for sure, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
They're still a very good airline. They still take really good care of their people. So
yeah. The last couple of times I've been on Delta, I ain't even turned TV on really. So yeah. So I didn't miss it that much. I'd be ready to try to go to sleep, to catch up on some sleep.
I always put it on the map. I always put it on the little map so I can watch the airplane as it travels across the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, a last minute flight on Delta would have been expensive.
I didn't think it would be that much. I thought it was I thought it probably would have been like $1,200 round trip. But not one way.
Nah,
because my flight to London, but even though it wasn't last, I was supposed to went to London last month on the 26th, and the flight was $1,200. And I don't understand why it was $1,200. It was round trip, because it was $1,200 for me, but it was $900 for my friend in Jacksonville. But she has to come from Jacksonville here, then get on the same flight that I got to get on to London.
They had to fill the seats.
Huh?
They had
to fill the seats in Jacksonville?
They had to fill the seats in Jacksonville.
Oh.
Fill the seats in Jacksonville, and the layover in Atlanta is nothing because they're already there. That's their hub. But they had to fill the seats in Jacksonville.
Oh. Yeah, and then when we went to London last year, it wasn't like that. Her ticket was more expensive than mine. But this year it was more that. So I was like, should I go to Jacksonville? Should I drive to Jacksonville or catch a little cheap flight to Jacksonville? And then because I was gonna take my son. So I said, should I cancel a cheap flight to Jacksonville? Is it worth it for me to save $600 to just go to Jacksonville and then fly from her to here? And I was like, nah, my
That's
time
too
is
much.
worth more. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, they can run them 600. Like,
Yeah.
but then when it came time to go, I was just like, I was just tired, and I just know. But last time we went to London, we was catching these trains and stuff and all that, and I was just like, it just feels too much like work. I
Yep.
was like, I need a yoga retreat or something. Like I need I need something. Well, I ain't got to do nothing. I need something
You
where
need the
it's just
hammock on the beach sitting right
yes,
over the ocean.
yes. I need somewhere to go to rejuvenate. But I
Yeah.
don't want to go and be catching these trains and catching they subway and London is just like New York. So
Oh yeah.
I don't want to be doing all that. I told her I was like, it just feels too much like work. Like I can't do it. I can't. She thought I had booked. She said, you ain't booked. I said, girl, I told you. I said in the last conversation, I told you it felt too much like work.
Nope.
I said I need like a yoga retreat or something. So I was going to book a yoga retreat in North Carolina. I think it was a silent retreat where you don't say nothing like all weekend.
That's glorious.
Yes, but then and it was the same amount as my ticket to London, and that was just that's for the whole retreat. So and then I immediately got scared. I said they may be crazy. Like I'm not going. I got scared. I can only
Mona comes back with her head shaved and wearing a robe.
right. All right.
Sandals.
I got scared. I can only do a yoga retreat if it's somebody like Deepak Chopra. I'll probably go to his or Iyanla, somebody that's known. But I just didn't know these people. I just found them on Google. I said these mugs might be crazy. I'm good.
You just,
I'll get on that.
What you do is you go to one of those like all-inclusive beach resort vacation spots, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you just do a yoga class at the resort. There you go.
Yeah.
There's your yoga retreat.
Yeah, that's my yoga retreat right now. Yeah, but
Food and everything included.
I like the whole silent retreat thing though. I ain't had to worry about nobody talking to me,
and that would be good, except for the fact that I talk to myself so much.
Oh yeah, they would have put you out.
Where was it? I was somewhere the other day, and I was doing something, and like I was talking to myself, like, yeah, okay, all right. So I take this. I'm like talking to myself, and I'm answering myself both, right, back and forth. And the person's like, "You talk to yourself a lot, don't you?" And I'm like, yes, I do.
I think all entrepreneurs talk to themselves.
I think because we have so much going on. One, we have so much going on in our brain, right? That we have to. That's how we kind of remember things. Oh, I need to go do this, and we say it and we hear it, so it works those parts of the brain to remember it, and then part of it is too like sometimes you just have to vent on things, and you're like, God dang it, why does this got to be like this? And you just kind of start going off to release that tension. Otherwise, you get it in your shoulders and you get it in your neck and you get it in your back. And then you're coming to Mona for a reading to get rid of all that pain.
Yes, yes.
So
and then
it just happens.
And then you don't have to break it down to nobody. You know what I'm saying? You're talking to yourself, you get what you're saying. You get it. You ain't got to break it down.
I don't have to try to explain it. I know what I mean.
Right.
There's no miscommunication.
Right. None of that.
Exactly.
Right. So it's the best. Right. All right. We got to get out of here. We overtime. Look, y'all have to make sure y'all go Sneed-Appliance Academy. Jump into some classes that's coming up.
Lots of big things happening in 2023. So stay tuned. Lots of stuff going on. Mona's going to do a lot of planning over the next couple months. So,
and we're gonna probably do the first basic appliance repair class first week, and after the new year, whenever that Monday is. And then
Monday is the 2nd, I think.
Oh, I don't know. I want to do it on the 2nd. Maybe the following week. People might be no, because they do it. The 2nd may be good. Yeah, the kids usually go back to school on the 2nd, right?
At least mine do here this year.
Yeah, ours do too. Tim, you know what? Our kids was not off on Veterans Day.
They weren't?
No, they were not. They had to go to school. I told you I would have known that. I told you if I don't know nothing that going on at that school, when they got a day off, my son come home screaming it from the top of his lungs.
Public school or private school or charter school or
Public.
really?
They were not all. And
I can't wait to tell my wife this because I can't wait to tell my wife this because I grew up growing up in Pennsylvania. Like I could have swore growing up, I could have swore we didn't get Veterans Day off either. Right. I could have swore we were always in school. Yeah. Then I moved out here and then all of a sudden we got off and my wife, who's a public school teacher, goes, "Oh no, it's a government holiday. All the schools are closed." I'm like, I don't think they are. No, it's a federal holiday. All the schools are closed. I'm like, okay. But here in Arizona, yeah, they are. But all the public schools are closed. But yeah, I can't wait. I was right.
Right. They were
I'm so excited.
Right. And I asked my son, I said, "Are you sure?" He was like, "Yeah." He was like, "But if you got a problem with it, I can stay home."
I can stay home. I'm all good for that.
I say, "No, you going to school." Yeah. But Anyway, y'all, look, we got to go. We got to get out of here. Look, Appliance Bootcamp is in description. Also, Tim Burdick YouTube channel in description. Like and subscribe to his channel. And look, go check out SSG applianceacademy.com. Shoot me an email if you're interested in applying to become an instructor also. And
there you go.
Email if you're interested in December SEAL Systems class.
Love it. All right, guys. It sounds like a plan. Okay. And with that,
That's all, folks.
See you guys Monday.
See you guys.